Parma have asked for information on Arsenal's Fabio Vieira. I mean, he's someone that we need to flog people. I mean, how much would we get for him? 10, 15, 20 odd million quid? Not sure on the credibility of this. Smash the like button purely because, Fabio Vieira needs to go. We want to probably sell. Parma have obviously appointed Carlos Cuesta as their manager. So maybe there's fuel to the fire there. I mean, Italy, great way of life. Carlos Cuesta knows you. Obviously, you'd get playing time and figure more in their plans than you would at Arsenal. I must admit, I'm pretty sure, and be honest, people, respectfully to Fabio Vieira, how many of you guys forgot he was at the club? And obviously, it presents an opportunity for him to, know where he stands. Him, Reece Nelson, Lokonga, obviously previously Nuno Tavares, to a degree Marquinhos. You're kind of at Arsenal, but then you're going on loans. You ain't really got the stability at a club and knowing where you stand and setting up roots in terms of, being an important player and growing. 1 minute you're here, 1 minute you're there. Arsenal are keen to sell Fabio Vieira this summer and are happy to take a significant loss on the Portuguese after a forgettable spell with the club. I wouldn't say we're happy. We've got no choice but to take a loss. 25 years of age, joined us from Porto in 2022 for just under 30 million with a potential 4.4 million add-ons. Didn't work out for him, people, really and truly. Over the course of 2 campaigns at Arsenal, he made 49 appearances and scoring 3 goals, people. His Premier League record stands at 33 appearances, 2 goals and 4 assists. He was loaned back to Porto. I think he did okay. Some good moments, some bad, but didn't pull up any trees, didn't really, put himself in the shop window for bigger clubs than Parma, respectfully, or to be featured back in Arsenal's plans. And we all knew once he left, at his age and where he was, dem loans you don't typically return back from, people. He may have been a regular for Porto, but the club had no plans to try and extend the loan or make the deal permanent. Probably don't have the finances to make it permanent, and clearly didn't do enough to convince them that he could stay for the durability of a new year. Again, Carlos Cuesta is new Parma manager, people. He left Mikel Arteta's assistant role at Arsenal, and obviously we've seen Gabriel Heinze come in. Arsenal are very happy to let Fabio Vieira go and are willing to accept just 20 million euros, which equates to 17.2 million for his services, which would present, to be fair, a significant loss on our initial investment 3 years ago. We're looking to raise funds as we're looking to do more stuff. As you know, we're going to get into the Gyokeres stuff, but Kepa's come in, Zubamendi's come in, Norgard, no clue why there's not official confirmation because there's been pictures of him in and around London Coley. Seems like we're moving ever closer to signing Noni Madueke. Cristhian Mosquera and Eze are still linked with our football club. So what do we make of Fabio Vieira's potential departure? You would have seen David Ornstein yesterday said Arsenal made contact with Chelsea over a Noni Madueke deal and the club are now in talks. Personal terms are not an issue as they've probably been agreed, as it says here. And there's been a proposal of a 5-year deal. He is 23, does present some versatility. I'm sure him, from what I think I know of him, he'd want to shut a lot of fans up. And what I would say, football fans some Arsenal fans need to take a long, hard look at themselves. And I'm speaking for the extremities. I think we're at on this channel, and I'm going to just speak for myself. I don't want Madueke. I don't see how this presents goosebumps. I don't see how he improves us. I hear the fact that he could play off the right and he could deputize for Saka, and we have been crying for Saka backup. But really, we're going to spend 50 million on backup. We're going to spend 50 million on somebody that's going to primarily deputize for Saka, and also an addition, an upgrade on that left-hand side, owing to the issues we've had for the last couple of years with Trossard and Martinelli. There are rumors that Arteta believes that Noni Madueke could cut out a future as a left winger. I hope this turns out to be better than expected and a masterclass and that. But I just think he adds in with the same type in that between him, Trossard, and Martinelli, really across a 38-game period, it is just going to be, who's in the form at the moment. You pull one out and then you keep going, really. But what I would say is, this is a human being. You can have your opinion. You can be very annoyed by the club. Obviously, had we have seen Gyokeres and Eze and Rodrigo and all these guys coming before him, it would look a bit different. Of course, we needed to have a good summer last year. We need level raisers. Arteta spoke about goosebumps. I understand all of that. But at the end of the day, this is a human being. I'm not talking for people that rationally can criticize and praise and be open to proving wrong. I hope he cuts out a future as a left winger. I hope if he plays on the right, he's better than Saka. Of course, I'm dreaming. As I said, I hope this is a masterstroke. But for fans who like to waffle about this club's values and, touch a class and all of that, to be grown men and women doing hashtags, like that's going to change anything. Doing hashtags, DMing the guy, abusing the guy. He's a human being. Because these same people that are doing that, which in the grand scheme of things, when you consider life and life is precious, RP Jota, when you consider everything that's happened, these are the same people that be abusing a man, then want to talk about, God forbid, but if he was to do certain things, we'll talk about mental health and protecting individuals' mental health and things of that ilk. And I don't know if Madueke, but really cares about what people are doing, because he won't be the first nor the last player to be doubted or be met with opposition. But you get where I'm going with that. I think it's wrong, man. This is a human being, and whether I rate him or not, as you can see, I'm not happy with this signing. But you will be given my support and praised and critiqued fairly. And if we're going to direct the energy at anyone, it has to be Mikel Arteta, Andrea Berta, and everyone at the football club. Because again, nobody's putting a gun to your head to sign him from Chelsea. Nobody is doing any of that. So that's where it should be directed, in a fair manner. Like it's quite sneaky, if I'm honest with you, and everyone doing it's fucking dickhead, if I'm honest with you. Not those that are criticizing the deal, those that are taking it the other way. Fortunately, social media and the internet is not real life. You would imagine when he plays for Arsenal, get nothing but support. As I said, he won't be the first nor the last player to be doubted, people. Chelsea are having their cake and eating it. Apparently, they're happy with Arsenal's 50 million mark offer for Noni Madueke, but asking for a bit more up front, and that's where negotiations will continue, but expected to get done. You know what, Chelsea? Arsenal want to fleece themselves. Fair play. You get him in. There's probably an element of Chelsea needing to sell players. Maybe Noni Madueke goes, Nkunku goes, Nicholas Jackson goes. They always selling academy kids. It is what it is. They're having their cake and eating it. Like, they're really dragging this out. And when you consider what they signed João Pedro for, about 50, 60 odd million quid, this offsets that. And where I look at João Pedro and obviously Mohamed Kudus, like, similar kind of fees, really. We couldn't have went for one of those. I know it's just a shiny new toy, but at least if you signed either or, I can see how they kind of in their own way upgrade things, but it's neither here nor there, people. We all know at this point we've submitted an offer, people. Chelsea want more than 50 million owing to what they're seeing going on with Alanga and other deals. Both clubs have a good relationship. I mean, you would if you're Chelsea, you can't believe it. Chelsea took one of the greatest players to play for this football club in Ashley Cole, gave us William Gallas, has sold us a lot of their want away players, and we keep going back over there, people. And they've made over 100 million on Noni Madueke and Kai Havertz, and no doubt we'll probably sign some more people. So fair enough, Chelsea. For Arsenal, I just hope it works. I hope it works for Madueke. I hope it works for the club. As long as in May 2026 there is a parade, fair play. But boy, is what it is. David Ornstein said Madueke was one of the options being considered by Arsenal, as they also weighed up Crystal Palace's Eze and Aston Villa. Apparently that part's been removed, people. We all know we're not getting Morgan Rogers. Apparently Madueke's pursuit does not harm our chances of Eze. I must admit, I am quite pessimistic on the Eze pursuit, and actually, even more pessimistic on Rodrigo. For where I'm feeling right now, I can only really see Gyokeres and Madueke. Whether that really upgrades us and gets us closer to what Liverpool did last year or City the previous year, I don't know, people, but it is what it is. Madueke, apparently Chelsea feel his head has been turned and also feel he's not kicked on enough to warrant the minutes on the pitch he expects. So where are you going to get that, Arsenal? But it's fair enough. Chelsea got Parma and Stalvio, and a bunch of them Gittins has come in. Although Maresca sees him as a talented player, he was never on the untouchables list. And with the arrival of Jamie Gittins and João Pedro, he's viewed as an option to sell. Fair enough. And also, I don't want to write a player off, and whether it works or not, clearly, if we're accelerating to the point where it's club-to-club negotiations, personal terms aren't an issue. We've obviously, or some level of, whether that's Berta, Mikel Arteta, some sort of middleman, you would imagine that we've obviously pitched how Madueke fits in tactically and technically, and in terms of growing with the squad. Is he keen on staying in London? Does he want to play for Arsenal? But you'd imagine beyond all of the finances, all of that jazz, we would have done our own character reference. We would have got a feel of the temperature there. And obviously, I'm sure Mikel Arteta would have probably asked someone like Pochettino, who's a friend of his and worked with Madueke at Chelsea, and maybe you're asking Lewis Skelly, Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, players like that, what is he like as a person? So I don't think there's issues, and I don't want to write a player off, and I'm also careful for obvious reasons about attitude issues and stuff like that. But there has been consistent indirects from Maresca. There is question marks about his defensive diligence and his willingness to do that and his complacency. So again, if the club get this wrong, they get it wrong, people. But it is what it is. Off the field, he has also had issues and discipline problems. Chelsea are happy to sell for what they feel is a strong offer and adjusting their planning accordingly. Now, you never know. In terms of, complacency, defensive work, all of that stuff, that you just need a positive attitude to get that. Then it just becomes a case of his ability. But it don't really sound good, people. as long as he brings Ruby Rose to the Emirates. Talks are ongoing. As part of the talks, Chelsea did ask for Wanyeri, and we've heard they've asked for Dalman. Forget about that. And it's expected that the Madueke deal will be completed swiftly. So yeah, they would like 55 plus million for Madueke, with club sources clear that the fee with add-ons must start with a 5. Arsenal will try for 40 to 45 million. We're not going to win that. Viktor Gyökeres transfer to Arsenal stalls over key issue which threatens total war as negotiators fly home. I mean, that isn't what you want to see, people. According to reports from Portugal, there have been no developments in talks since the weekend, and the club are locked at an impasse over the transfer fee. We hear there's a 5 million difference, and we also hear conflicting reports on such. Subscribe, smash the like button, and let me know your thoughts so far. It's well documented that Gyokeres reportedly believes he has an honour agreement to be able to leave for a fee of 60 million euros plus 10 million euros, though Sporting seemingly see things otherwise. Arsenal reportedly offered to pay 65 million euros plus a further 15 million euros, which equates to 56 million pounds plus 12.9 million pounds in add-ons, I guess. The Portuguese club are now believed to be standing firm on a fixed fee of 70 million, which equates to 60.4 million. So we're about 4 or 5 million odd short. And so, come on, man, we've come too far to turn back. Arsenal's reps conducted discussions with Sporting and have since returned to London from Lisbon after failing to close the deal, people. You'd imagine it still gets done. It's worth underlining the player seemingly wants to join Arsenal and has already offered to give up as much as 2 million euros, 1.7 of his future salary with the Gunners, to improve the situation for Sporting. He doesn't want to return to training. Apparently, broadly, he's negotiated a 5-year deal, and apparently a loan to Turkey, if it doesn't work out, could be it. So that's just someone that wants to get out of Sporting, full stop, if I'm honest with you. We're still linked with Eze. At this point, we need to see some accelerations. So yeah, everybody is saying that we're stalling. The Premier League stance is to offer 65 million. Club stance is to offer 65 million with add-ons of 5 and 10 million euros. That takes the total overall package to 80 million euros. But Sporting wants 70 million guaranteed, so they don't really want the IOUs, people. We know the Sesko thing didn't really work out, and we know there's been a bit of, it's just got nasty between Sporting and Gyokeres and Gyokeres' agent, if reports are to be believed. Fabrizio Romano said calmer about Viktor Gyokeres' story. Arsenal are in advanced talks, and that doesn't change. It remains concrete. It absolutely remains on. Let them work. Let them negotiate. Arsenal are working on it. So do you think this will get done, people? Or do you see us moving away from such people? Newcastle, the latest club to register interest in Ollie Watkins. Apparently, Arsenal and Manchester United are still monitoring the situation. We have been linked with Ademola Lookman, who I would prefer to Madueke. Rodrigo was on the bench for Real Madrid in their 5th consecutive Club World Cup. They got battered against PSG, absolutely sourced. Their players need to want to run off the ball, and Courtois, since actually, ironically, Arsenal played Real Madrid, he's been digging out his teammates for their work rate, if I'm honest with you. Romano has also said that both Real Madrid and Rodrigo's camp will discuss his future in the next week. We have saw rumours he now wants to stay at Real Madrid, and I think that's all he wants. That's his first priority. Decision will be up to Rodrigo, as Real Madrid are open to the exit if the player decides to leave. So he has to make sure he wants to leave. Rodrigo has not made Real Madrid starting 11 at the Club World Cup for 5 consecutive games. Even when Real Madrid were getting battered against Paris Saint-Germain, he still didn't come on. And if you look at Alonso's comments, it just doesn't see him in his plans at this moment in time. Again, Arsenal and a number of Premier League clubs from in and around, well, in England and clubs around Europe are looking at Rodrigo. We're not going to have a free hit. Apparently, Saliba has received a substantial proposal from Arsenal to renew his contract. Wanyeri, Arsenal apparently confident about committing his future. The same is said for the young, talented, well, Saliba's young, Wanyeri's young, Max Dalman is very young, committing his future to the football club, people. Liverpool have also registered interest in Rodrigo, people. Trossard is still being linked with a move away. Is this a clue from Wanyeri? He's wearing a Sporting shirt. I think he's been on holiday in Portugal, so I don't know whether to read too much into it or not. I'm sure Miles Lewis-Skelly liked to tweet, I saw on social media, about Gyokeres. You know how Arsenal fans are. They'll always find the activities. Apparently, Arsenal remain relaxed about the pursuit of Valencia defender Mosquera and are expected to place a new bid soon. He is linked with Leipzig, and even if this guy doesn't go and be good for Arsenal, and I know it's petty and I know you shouldn't say it, but because Leipzig were acting over Sesko, yeah, just go and get him. Just go and get him. Just make their summer even harder, people. So yeah, we've heard, you know, we've made a low ball offer. We hear the player wants to join Arsenal. He's got a year left on his deal at Valencia. He initially wanted to sign a new deal. They were very laxed in that kind of thinking. Since then, Arsenal have essentially turned his head. He's got a year to go on his deal, people. Shown no signs of wanting to extend. Has a 25 million euros price tag apparently placed on his head. Over the last 24 hours, reports have emerged claiming that a potential move from Maresca is completely stalled. Sky Sports states the Gunners remain patient and relaxed about the situation. Arsenal are fully expected to make an improved offer for the 21-year-old in due course. The Premier League giants are buoyed by Mosquera's unequivocal desire to join them. I don't even know if I said that word rightly. I mean, we're jetting off to Hong Kong and Singapore soon. It'd be nice if we get Gyokeres and nice if we get this guy. So, boy, we have to get things done. But there isn't. Zubamendi right now is the only level raiser at the club again, and he might need time to adapt. I'm very bullish about him. You know, I think Gyokeres raises the level, but last time I checked, Gyokeres, Eze, who I'm pessimistic for, Rodrigo, who I'm the more pessimistic of. I think you got more of a chance of getting Rodrigo than Anthony Gordon. So that tells you for the Anthony Gordon stuff. The only level raiser we have at this moment in time is Zubamendi. I'm not doubt, Kepa, cool second choice. Norgard, all right, cool. Madueke, not inspired by that, but it is what it is. I can't control transfers. I can't, in terms of depth, and I am a hypocrite. We do need to improve our depth as well as bringing in players for the starting 11. But apart from Zubamendi and what he could become, I don't see any level raisers. I don't see any players who, in their own part, get us those few percentages closer to, at the fourth time now of asking, getting over the line in the Premier League. And if we do find ourselves in a situation like where you're in the semi-finals of a League Cup or the FA Cup, trying to get to the final and having that competence, or if you look at the last two times we went out of the FA Cup against Liverpool and Man United, fundamentally went out because we didn't score goals. We didn't put the ball in the back of the net. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
There's always